So many steps. All right.
I
Hello.
was getting ready to freestyle over that beat.
Let's hear it.
No, I didn't have time.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to the November 15th, 2022 Kickoff Show. This could be the last time we call this the Kickoff Show because we do realize it's 1 p.m. on the East Coast now, and we really need a more appropriate name. But for today, it is called the Kickoff Show, the daily show here on Laughing Place TV, where we look at yesterday, today.
Daily Show. There you go. That's not taken.
Disney Daily? The Daily Disney Dish? No, that might be taken. Yesterday and today in the world of Disney. My name is Doobie Mosley. I'm the co-founder of Laughing Place. And today, the co-host of this show, along with our special guest co-host, Kyle Burbank.
Hello.
Kyle Burbank is the managing editor for Laughing Place Omnimedia Enterprises, online and in person. And we are going to talk about Disney stuff. Laughing Place TV, if you haven't heard of it, now you have. Come check it out 24 hours a day. Disney News Channel, lots of live shows, lots of other content throughout the day. Thank you for that word, content. So, Kyle, the big news, of course, we always like to start our day with a look at the Disney share price, and we are going to do just that. So, right now, Disney stock is trading at 95.79. I know, Kyle, you're a finance guy, so this means something to you. 95.50. Up 1.29%. By comparison, the S&P is up about the same, 1.47%. So Disney performing more or less what the market is performing. What's your analysis of Disney stock?
You did what I was going to ask you to do. So, 95, not a great share price for Disney. When I think about what I've purchased is that I think I have a couple at like 100, which was like, oh, wow, it's 100. It's never going to be this low again. And that didn't work out.
A quick 5-year look at the Disney stock. Is this a 5-year? This is not too far off a 5-year low, is it? That's not great.
No, it's a 52-week low, or it was, because it was in the 80s earlier, or like late last week. But yeah, it's pretty much where it was, and there haven't been any stock splits recently. So
the only time it really dipped much lower, even around this range, was immediately when the pandemic hit, and that's kind of
And it got back to those lows after, like, pretty much the day after that meeting. It was around there.
Yeah.
It might have been a couple bucks more, but
the earnings meeting last week. So anyway, that's a look. We like to take a look at the stock price, see what the market thinks of what's going on in the world of Disney. And what's going on in the world of Disney today is price increases, which we think the market likes. More price, higher prices, more money. I'm not sure why they don't charge $1,000 a day. But Kyle, give us a quick run. I know we did an extensive rundown at 6 this morning. So anyone that wants to see that, that's on our YouTube channel. But for the purposes of the kickoff, let's get a quick rundown on what Disney has done with the prices.
Yeah, so the biggest change is going to be to one-day tickets at Walt Disney World, which honestly, I'd be curious to know how many people are buying one-day tickets to Walt Disney World. But nevertheless, this will take effect on December 8th. And what they're going to do is make it different prices for the different parks. So this isn't the first time that they've done this. It used to be that Magic Kingdom for one-day tickets was about $5 more than the other parks. But now what's going to happen is Disney's Animal Kingdom is going to have the lowest. That's actually going to keep the current pricing. So the range will be from $109 to $159. And there's all sorts of different prices in between there, depending on demand. Epcot's range is going to be $114 to $179. Studios is going to be $124 to $179. And then Magic Kingdom is $124 to $189. But that top tier $189, they say, is only going to be between Christmas and New Year's. So the absolute slammed busiest times of the year is going to be that $189.
And even though the prices show as this sequence, as we discussed earlier, on any given day, you may find that Epcot is more expensive than Hollywood Studios, or when Animal Kingdom opens up their big.
Presumably. They haven't really stated that, but that's our assumption, because I would guess, like specifically with Epcot, that your food and wine weekend is going to be busier than Hollywood Studios, whereas the 114 might be, like we said, joked about, like the 2 weeks during the year where there's not a festival going on at Epcot.
And, they always talk about their interest in improving the guest experience. Increasing prices is one way of keeping crowds down, along with reservations, but also flowing people to maybe a less expensive park, which is a less busy park, via pricing is also another way to hopefully improve the guest experience. So the Magic Kingdom isn't the one that's always slammed, at least not until park hopping hour comes. And speaking of park hopping, Kyle.
Well, actually, before we get to that, you mentioned reservations. They also are going to make an adjustment to how that works. Currently, at Walt Disney World, if you buy a one-day ticket, you still need to go make a park reservation for that day. Whereas at Disneyland, when you purchase your one-day ticket, you select which park you want to go to, and then that doubles as your park reservation. So they're going to also on December 8th switch to that system. So makes a lot more sense, way more streamlined. I can't believe it was the other way.
I mean, theoretically, people bought a ticket expecting to go to the park next Saturday, only to then not be able to get a reservation, which blows me away. I can't tell you how much I love that we're showing Laughing Place right now with this information, and the ad down there is for Universal Florida. So.
Yeah, our banner ads are always fun. But yes, park hopping this one's going to affect both one-day tickets as well as multi-day. And so starting December 8th, they're going to make the add-ons. So either your Park Hopper or your Park Hopper Plus, that add-on price is also going to be, it's going to fluctuate depending on demand. So currently the way it is that you have your base price that floats all over the place depending on whatever price they set to it based on demand. But then the add-on portion is a set price. So now not only is the base price going to float, but the add-on price will also adjust. So you could be spending dozens of dollars more plus Genie Plus to go to Walt Disney World, depending on the day.
And so one of the things, I like to do on this particular show is see what the interwebs have to say about these things. So I'm glad you mentioned that complexity. Let me, let's go ahead and do that. All the reaction was to this particular news about the price increase. There was one more tiny announcement they made. We don't even need to discuss that. You can see that on our other show. So let's go check out some of the social reactions, and then I can get Kyle's reaction. We've got this one from Bo Foofer, and maybe I shouldn't be reading these names since I don't know what they mean. But Bo Foofer says, Disney needs a visionary in charge again. Clearly there is a large demand for the product. They should be expanding, building more parks. And that's Disney, at least it seems, especially with the announcement of the hiring freeze, is they seem to have a demand. Their parks are still full despite all these price increases. Yet as best we can tell, there's no major push right now within the company to expand capacity. What do you think, Kyle?
Yeah, no, I think that's spot on. And they do have the ships coming up. So the parks division is technically increasing capital expenditures, but the parks as we think about them haven't returned to their pre-pandemic levels of investment. And to think, we're still talking about we're still waiting for Tron. Like that's the next big project. We talk about it for what feels like 5 years now. So I think Doobie's frozen for the moment, so I'm just going to keip vamping.
Really? My internet connection, not like that I even said the words. All right. I expected, I'll be honest, I expected to see a lot of negativity on the socials when I was looking this morning. There was some, but it wasn't as vitriolent. Sorry, not virulent, as vitriolent as I expected. Here's one from John. Do they lower the price when rides are down? What about crowds, malfunctions, etc.? Do you get a partial refund? Otherwise, it's not really dynamic. And it's interesting. They have this dynamic pricing now, but which could create an expectation that those prices are going to lower when the major rides are down for refurb. Or what if you walk in and then Guardians of the Galaxy is down all day? They've created this precedent of dynamic pricing. Guessed at some point they start to expect it on the other end.
Yeah, well, I mean, they already have some make goods for such things. So the 101 issues are probably different than the expectation, for refurbishment schedules, I'd say,
Sure. Let's see, Jen. So making things even more complicated than they already are. Got it. That's the one that I keep coming back to. There was a time when you could ask a simple question. How much does it cost to go to the park? Oh my goodness. How complicated is that right now?
What time is the 3:00 parade? That's what they took that and ran with it. They're like, hey, this is clever. There's no real answer. So I didn't realize how complicated it had really gotten. And people, Genie Plus, like we kind of understand it in theory because of what they tell us. But then if you put yourself in the shoes of these everyday guests, like I can totally see it being overwhelming and confusing, and especially not knowing how much it's going to be. Like now they've made it to where you can actually see the price on the app in the homepage before you get like 3 clicks in. But still, you don't know what the price is going to be until you show up that day. And at Walt Disney World, you can only purchase it on the day of. So that's an added expense that, like, how do you even budget for it? You just have to guess It's going to be $25, and then cool, we get an extra corn dog because it was only $15 for the day.
And not only an extra expense, but an extra complication. I have some friends who are going to DCA, and they were asking me to help them understand what it takes to ride Radiator Springs Racers. And I'm trying to explain Genie Plus versus individual Lightning Lane and how they're not the same. And you want to ILL this one, and it doesn't mean you have to buy Genie Plus. And this doesn't even get into the virtual queue, which isn't a cost, but it is an additional complication. If you're a guest who just wants to go to EPCOT and ride Guardians, what day of the week is it? Where's the seasonal pricing? Where's the dynamic pricing for EPCOT, which is different than for all the other parks? Am I going to get a virtual queue? Am I going to get an individual Lightning Lane if I can't get a virtual queue? When is that going to sell out? Do I need Genie Plus or do I not? Wow, is it complicated? There was a time where you would buy a ticket and get in line, and that's it.
And they keep changing it, They keep making these adjustments. I think their goal is just to make the unofficial guide just as irrelevant as possible by the time the thing gets printed.
And it's funny. A lot of this is based on Genie Plus. I remember when they announced Genie, the magical thing that's going to help you plan your trip, which is completely fallen by the wayside, and it's 100%.
Has anyone have we tested it at all? Like, I don't even know if anyone's actually ever put it to the test.
So, sorry. So yeah, it's
and even the nomenclature is confusing. Like, just no part about this is good.
And you know what's going to happen at some point? Someone's going to come in, some new mucky muck, maybe the next Josh D'Amaro or the next Bob Chapek, and go, "We are here to simplify things. This has gotten way too complicated," and that's going to be their big thing. We are simplifying the situation. Let's see what else has social got to say here.
It's going to be like Southwest. Be like, imagine this concept: you get in line and then you board the plane. Doesn't matter about whether you have the credit card or you're this status, but you're this status with the credit card.
And I don't mind virtual queue as a concept, but considering just how complicated everything's gotten, it's just one more complication. Simplifying this has got to be a priority. I know I've talked to people who try to go to the parks, and it is so complicated, and they're getting trumped by the people who have the time or have the inside knowledge to work the system. We have never not gotten on Guardians of the Galaxy when we want to. We don't do anything special. We just know what to do. We know to be up at 7 a.m. And we get it done. And I feel bad for the people that don't and that just go to the park and realize they can't ride the biggest ride in the world, But the bottom line is people complain, but no one stops going to the parks, says Mike Joseph.
Yes. You have to put your not money where your mouth is.
Exactly. Let's see. Anything else? Yeah. And as you said, this is exactly what you said. Swamp Saga City. Good grief. How is a typical family supposed to budget for a Disney vacation these days with so many variables and hidden costs? So anyway, I was about to bring on my wife, who is at Epcot right now, and she just dropped off. So I suspect she'll be coming back in just a moment. Strange world. So I don't think. Oh, no, she's here. She's here. Any thumbs up, Rebecca? All right. So right now, live from Epcot, the second most expensive park at Walt Disney World on a typical day, is Rebecca Mosley.
Hey.
It's actually the third.
Oh, that's right.
Guys.
It's behind studio. Sorry. How you doing? How does it feel to be in the third best park at Disney World?
It feels like the best park to me.
So I know you heard
about
like
$124.
Hey, can I be honest? It has the best steak and Jamaicans. The Joffrey's cart out in front of this park is my favorite. I think other people favor the one by Galaxy, but no, for me, it's the one out in front of Epcot. I find them to be the most reliable as far as the balance of caramel to coffee. So it's my go-to.
When you want to get a shaken Jamaican, do you need to use a Genie Plus? Is there a virtual queue, or do you just show up and go get it?
I just walked right up. I got it. It was the same price today as it was yesterday.
Wow.
We'll see what tomorrow brings. So last night, you were at Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party for the first time in maybe 10 or more years. How was it?
Okay, I realized that as I was leaving. because so many, like for example, the Tomorrowland Speedway, it has these beautiful decorations as you're driving around. They've got Christmas trees and oversized presents and lighting along the edges and this kind of rockin' Mannheim Steamroller Christmas music. And I was shocked by that because I just don't pay as much attention sometimes when I'm not there in the park. And it was really fun to see, but it's been around, it's been around for a while, but new to me. And then I got to, see, there you go. It was bright and shiny. By the way, it's very hard to film and drive a car at the same time.
Well, see, to help me on my Speedway experience, I make sure to practice that on the freeway, so that once I get to Disney World, I'm pretty good at it.
But check it out, how pretty, right?
Yeah.
And I can't even wait until, like, imagine it with the Tron coaster, like zooming around in the background. It's going to be so much fun.
Theoretically, yeah, we're still waiting on that Tron coaster.
See, so I was always a West Coaster, so I never went to the Christmas parties, but I remember listening to you guys on the podcast and being like, I want to get cookies. Why don't I have a cookie party at Disneyland?
It was so cool. Actually, that was, okay, so I walked straight out of the Speedway and down the stairs and then into Cosmic Rays, straight up, no queue, just straight up, grabbed my cup of hot cocoa and a cookie and sat down over at Club Tinsel, which is what they do inside that location. This was actually over at Sleepy Hollow. And I don't think it's a party exclusive. It's a holiday treat, but I had to get a picture of it with the castle lit up all pretty because this was actually during the stage show that they have there, which, by the way, features Clarabelle Cow. And I heard it like 3 or 4 times throughout the night and just cracked me up every single time. Clarabelle Cow singing "All I Want for Christmas Is You," and highlight of the evening for me.
2 things that I know, because I know you pretty well, that you love are things that light up and fireworks. So what was this like?
Okay, so partway through the show, I realized I haven't seen this show before. And partway through the show, I realized I'm looking at this silly glowing thing down here more than I'm looking at it. So especially holding it up like that with the castle illuminated, because the color palette of my Magic Band would transition with the castle palette. And so having that then layered with the fireworks behind it was so much fun. I couldn't believe how much fun I was having. But like you say, you know me, I have been an early adopter of all the things that Disney has abandoned over the years. Pal Mickey, Glow with the Show, and now Magic Band Plus. I keep hoping that one of these will prove to be the winner, and I will continue to have something that is interactive and fun when I go to the park.
Now, I know you saw the show at Tomorrowland, Totally Tomorrowland Christmas. I've seen a clip of these guys doing, what was it? We Wish You a Merry. I'm not sure what song they do, but do you know what I'm referring to? Were they funny?
Okay, I very much, it's kind of a combat type. It's like a dance-off, right? So you've got Buzz and his, happy, peppy Space Rangers, and then you've got Zurg and his Steppen brigade here. And so I think it's Jingle Bells that they do kind of in an intense step-in fashion. It's so cool. It's high energy. Well, the thing I loved, okay, I was seated between, there was a family with a young girl who I became pals with as we waited for the show. She had a little magic wand and she was gently bopping me on the head with it, telling me she was giving me pixie dust. And we were joking around that if she gave me too much, I would float away. So we were having fun with that. And then on the other side of me was a family with a toddler who could barely stay within like 6 inch, within like his own little zone. They're just jumping up and down, dancing along with it. So the energy of the littles around me they were so into the show. And as each character came out, the cheers for Buzz, the cheers for Stitch, it was so much fun. I like I say, I was having a blast.
One more
The
food
show was great, but the show was great, but I was everybody enjoying it. Oh, okay, this red velvet donut you would love this, Juby. This is so you.
Looks like me.
I will warn you. I will warn partakers of this. It stained my fingers red for a little bit because it's that red velvety, but it was a tasty treat.
Awesome. All right. Anything you want to say that we didn't mention? Did you want to give your 2 cents on the news this morning?
No, I don't have any. Okay, I will share this. And it's a bit of on a personal note. And she's sitting over there, so I hope she doesn't like get upset at me for be like, oh, don't say that. But some aspects of this are going to make the job of people who are in kind of those front windows a little bit easier. No, that buy the ticket and you don't have all these additional steps for that day. That's going to make it easier for them. And so I like that. But on the flip side, the other elements of it are going to be so much more dynamic that it's going to be very interesting to see kind of how that trickles down into some of those positions. Juby and I, we have friends who work turnstiles, who work ticketing booths. And so I'm very intrigued to see kind of how it's realized in real time for those individuals there. But I know I know that the single day being kind of that day of, you don't have to then try and do the whole all the other dynamics that go into that. Oh, and the reservation with the 2-hour window for dining. Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited about that. In fact, I made a reservation this evening knowing that that's a possibility. So I'm hoping right now to enjoy some EPCOT fun. I want to take some NuEmo pictures. So if you follow me on Twitter, LP_Rebecca, I'm hopefully going to be sharing some new NuEmo mini photos from around EPCOT. For LP, I'm hoping to get over to the beach club and get us some pictures of the gingerbread carousel and some of the beauty that's over there. So be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter, Laughing Place. I'm going to be throughout EPCOT today taking pictures.
And at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m., you'll be able to see Rebecca and Rebecca, both from remote locations, doing Barely Necessities, the Disney merchandise show where they focused on the P&D PEP, the second one. Right, Kyle?
Yeah.
Yep, the P&D PEP, the second one.
All right. Well, thanks for your time, Rebecca. Have a good time. I look forward to seeing all your pictures and hearing what fun you have.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye. That was Rebecca Mosley, a.k.a. my wife.
I just had a great idea.
Yes.
What they should do is get the Price is Right wheel, and you just spin that when you get to the ticket booth. And yeah, it just has all the different prices, and whatever it lands on, that's what you pay.
We've got the wheel. We should totally do that. I like that idea. All right. Next up, Strange Magic. Tickets go on sale today. Is that right, Kyle?
Tickets are now on sale, including the El Capitan, where I didn't even look at what they're doing, but I'm sure they're doing something, usually like a stage show. They used to go a little bit more all out. They used to have like an extra attraction in the backyard. These days, it's usually, some costumes, which there won't be costumes for this because that doesn't make any sense. But usually some sort of like stage performance ahead of time. But I think at the El Capitan, the curtain show is the best thing going.
I don't disagree with you. Strange World is the next animated feature from Walt Disney Animation Studios, and it comes out on
a few weeks.
Come on, Kyle. Goodness. These people hanging like that. Usually you know this stuff so well.
Sometimes. I gotta admit, this one I'm not. It's kind of snuck up on me for one thing, and it doesn't seem terribly interesting to me.
November 23rd. Has there been an animated feature going to theaters, maybe even going to Disney Plus in recent memory with less fanfare than Strange World?
I guess Lightyear had more fanfare just because of the name recognition, but it didn't perform very well.
I think it had a lot of fanfare. The problem with Strange World for me is I keep picturing Lucasfilm Strange Magic, which this is not, but it's way too similar.
They also didn't even announce it that long ago. Like I feel like we usually know about, Disney animated feature projects for several years. I mean, Gigantic we knew about and then got canceled. But even the one for next year, the 100th anniversary one, we just found out about at D23. It's coming out in a year. And obviously they've been working on it for much longer than that. So it's kind of an interesting situation.
Bold prediction: Strange World will make less than Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
It's I don't know if that counts as bold. I'll call it italic.
Shift F8. Some quick news, just to make mention of, there was talk of a Margot Robbie-led Pirates of the Caribbean movie that would kind of be a female-focused Pirates of the Caribbean movie. I know some people are very excited over that, especially after the huge success of the female-focused Ghostbusters film. Apparently, this project is dead, according to Margot Robbie, and a comment she made in Variety. How disappointed are you, Kyle?
I mean, I guess this is something that, we talked a little bit about the earnings report earlier and how maybe they're going to stop doing these like singles and doubles for Disney Plus. I wonder what this would have been. Like, I wonder if this would still be a theatrical thing or if this was supposed to be like a tent pole, but a Disney Plus tent pole. And I wonder if the project were to move forward, what place it has in the company right now.
Yeah, that's a good question. We shall never know.
We'll never know. It's like how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop.
This day in Disney, we've moved on to the fun stuff now. Earlier, Kyle asked what fun stuff is. We are officially on fun stuff. So, this day in Disney history, back in 2008, with many thanks to Attractions Magazine for this video, Super Soap Weekend, the final ABC SoapNet Super Soap Weekend launched on this day in 2008. Wow, I remember that guy.
See, I didn't realize that they did these on the East Coast. I always just assumed it was was there a DCA version? I know that they had the soap restaurant, but do they do super soap things at DCA?
I know they did an ABC thing. I can't remember if they did a soap opera exclusive thing, but this was huge at Walt Disney World for years. I mean, huge.
Becca actually recently, General Hospital did something at Graceland that she wanted to go to with all the cast of that show. Fortunately, we didn't get to go. So yeah, maybe that's taken over on the ABC side.
I can't believe 2008. I was never a huge fan of these, but if I were in town when they went, I went, and it's been a while. Anyway, so that final one.
They had those. They had ESPN the weekend, and then they had like the Star Wars.
Yes,
right.
Yes, and DCA had ABC, and I just can't remember if they had a specific soap opera one.
Well, we had the X Games at one point, but I don't think that was a year thing.
Different category. All right. On this day in 1993, Garden Grill opened at Walt Disney World. That's the EPCOT rotating restaurant in the Land Pavilion. There's an adorable picture of little Gideon getting a hug from Dale. It is a character meal. It is so much fun. You get to stand there and just rotate around slowly, see some fun sights, and the food is awesome. All you can eat. Kyle, any fond memories of Garden Grill?
Actually, yes, fond memories of Garden Grill. So I went to Florida in 2012 around the holiday, a little bit after the holidays. And I had met Rebecca before through a mutual friend, but she came to dinner with us that time. And then we made plans to hang out the next day. And that's when our love started to grow. So we can say that it was our first pre-date. It wasn't actually a date, but that's when we really started to get to know each other, was at the Garden Grill. As I ate copious amounts of steak and potatoes.
That is awesome. I had no idea when I put that.
I know, you did super.
That is really cool. Oh, a love story. And now you both are living out your happily ever after, working for Laughing Place.
Yeah.
Those two things may not be related. On this day in 1980.
I was not born.
You know how to hurt a guy. Big Thunder Mountain opened in Walt Disney World, thanks to Laughing Place for the use of this video.
Yeah.
And, is this among your favorite roller coasters, Kyle?
Yes, but not this version per se.
You prefer? Oh, don't say Paris.
I'm not going to say Paris. I think Disneyland's is better. I think this one's a little bit more anticlimactic. Or maybe I don't. I forget. But yeah, I think I like Disneyland. It's also the one I'm more familiar with, honestly, so that has bearing on it.
Yes.
But yes, of course, Paris's is better.
I long to do Paris's, but it opened on this day, 1980, 20, 30, 40, ouch, 42 years ago.
What I associate this ride with is, there's so many commercials or shows that go to Disney, either park, and that one turn that just keeps going.
Yep.
There's that and of course the Splash Mountain one. All of those are just iconic ride moments that have been captured on film. So that's what I think of.
Have you ever successfully done the goat trick?
No, because why? So what is it supposed to just like mess you up?
I don't know. I don't get it. If you can't describe exactly what it does, then it doesn't exist.
Like, wow, you get dizzy on a roller coaster. Special.
I think the goat trip is like a snake hunt. The people in the know tell other people to do it, but it doesn't actually exist. Anyway,
Well,
yes?
You know what? We should have Mike, now that you've informed Mike Celestino about this, we should have him do a documentary on this like urban legend and does it do anything, and has it just been passed down as, did someone just be like, oh, there's a goat with the dynamite, you should just stare at the goat and yell goat, goat, goat. It's a Bloody Mary type thing.
That is a fantastic idea, because I seriously, if I had to bet money that mattered to me, the goat trick is not a thing. There's this cabal of people that are spreading this rumor, but it's not actually a thing. All right, that's all for this day in Disney history. If you missed it, yesterday was Bill Farmer's birthday, so belated happy birthday to Bill Farmer. We mentioned you yesterday. The Disney Food Blog had some exciting news this morning. Let me get that video queued up. They put up this, this was a tweet of the railroad at the Magic Kingdom station. Word is that cast members may have been riding this morning. It's definitely not open for guests, but it's inching closer, which can only mean one thing. Kind of what?
Well, it's funny because they announced like a couple weeks ago that it was testing, and then you're like, well, you announced several months ago that you were testing it. So they just keep testing it in different phases. So yeah, eventually it will reopen when Tron opens.
I was going to say, this really means one more important thing. Tron may actually get a reopening date, right? An opening date. All right. A while ago, as in a couple of days ago, we were talking about Believe, Sea of Dreams at Tokyo Disney Sea, and showing some awesome B-roll from it, and wondering when there would be some full videos up on Laughing Place. Well, Yamato Style has what looks to me to be a fantastic video of the entire show, Believe, Sea of Dreams, up on their YouTube channel. So you can go check that out. Someday we'll have a nice QR code I'll just put up there. You can scan that and go see it. But in the meantime, just search Believe, Sea of Dreams. You can see up there, Yamato Style. I have yet to watch this entire video. I want to do so with my son. I swear, this is the most spectacular nighttime spectacular that's ever been, right?
I mean, it's at Tokyo Disney Sea, so probably.
And is that the Maricopa Hotel in the background?
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
Well, it depends on which angle it's facing, but part of it's Miracosta, part of it's some other buildings, but yeah, most likely Miracosta.
And you've been to Disney Sea, right?
I have. I haven't stayed at Miracosta, but I've been to Disney Sea 3 times.
So among us Americans, we think of Disney Sea as like the holy grail. Like, it's just so far and away the best theme park. It's not even funny. As someone that's been there 3 times, is it at that level?
Yeah, it really is. It's a lot of fun, and it flows way better than I expected before I went, because you see like, how are all these things connected? But yeah, just even we went on, last time I was there, I was with Benji and Alex and my wife, and we went on Soarin', which we've done Soarin' a million times, and it's the same video, but the pre-show was such a step above. I mean, there was no nice work, pal, but other than that, like they must have counted wrong, so they're like, oh, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to keep you here, you're gonna have to watch the pre-show again. And we're like, that's fine. We were excited to watch the pre-show again because it was so cool, and it was slightly different than the time before. So yeah, everything there, we could just hang out there all day and not do anything. Sorry, you're breaking up.
Too long ago, my son and I just watched like an hour-long walk through just silent dialogue. Okay,
you're back.
Yeah, an hour-long walk through, no dialogue, just a guy walking and holding the camera, and the place just looks amazing. There's so much going on in that park. Another park you have been to that us mere mortals have not, Paris. We like to bring this international stuff here on this show. Mickey's Dazzling Christmas Parade has begun in Disneyland Paris. This video is from our good friend Jeff Lane / Mouse Steps. Have you seen this parade? Have you been there at Christmas?
I haven't been there. So we went around New Year's. So I guess we did. I don't remember if I've seen this or not, honestly, but we were there for a holiday annual pass holder party at one point.
Have you been to Paris in the snow? It's my dream to see a theme park in the snow.
I've been to it when it's cold, but never been to it in the snow. We've been to it in almost every other season, just never actual snow, which, being an annual pass holder, I'd be okay with it because we could just go see it for a couple hours and be like, okay, well, we saw the prettiness and now I'm cold and my feet are wet and I want to go back to the thing and not be mad about it. But yeah, if you were just there for a couple of days, that might be a bummer after a while.
The best thing in the world. Cool. The last thing I want to do is just mention, it's Tuesday. That means that those of you who like to stay up late get to see what's new on Disney Plus tomorrow. So everything drops on Wednesdays. Andor, I think it's the penultimate episode of Andor coming tonight, which is the best show Disney Plus has ever produced. Kyle may disagree.
I haven't watched any of it yet. We watch Mysterious Benedict Society on Wednesdays.
Which is coming as well. You excited about the next episode?
I am, and you can check out an exclusive clip from the next episode right now on laughingplace.com.
I assume that's on our YouTube channel?
It is not on our YouTube channel. It was momentarily before Benjamin corrected me and showed me that they sent us a link. People don't need that much inside baseball, but there you go. Kyle messed up this morning.
Sure. Now this is when things don't want to load for me. We are going to get a look at this exclusive clip in just a moment. There we go. Exclusive clip. I know I saw the link. There it is. Mysterious Benedict Society.
Do 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 do. If you haven't watched this show, I definitely recommend it. It took us by surprise. It wasn't something we anticipated really watching during the first season until we did a virtual escape room together and got interested in it, and really enjoyed the first season, and definitely invested in the second season, and it ended on a little bit of a cliffhanger last week. So
this is one of those shows that I co-watch. My wife really enjoys it. I am in the room when she watches it, and I know about 10% of what's going on, and it is a really good co-watch show. I really loved the episode when they were on the ship, because I love anything ship related. So
yeah, and there's also, we were talking about it in our Slack channel. Yeah, there was the Queen Mary that they were on, and then last week they were at a train station, which is actually the train station in Santa Ana. Oh, guess not. No thumbs up. And Doobie froze.
Oh, okay. She sent me a message saying right now the virtual queue is open on Guardians of the Galaxy. So they do the 7 o'clock drop and the 1 o'clock drop. So I guess the 1 o'clock drop is still available. If she's coming back here, I will bring her on and get clarification.
That's why it's a $114 park.
And the other show that drops tonight, which I do drop, this isn't just a co-watch, this is an active watch, is Mighty Ducks Game Changers. I gotta tell you, if you like the singles and doubles, as they call them, Disney Plus is the place you want to be. They do the big stuff, obviously the Mandalorian, stuff like that, but they're doing the singles and the doubles. Mighty Ducks Game Changers, just a great family, fun, simple show. Mysterious Benedict Society, something really original. Again, very family, very fun. Big Shots, I didn't like quite as much, but I did like it. So support that stuff, because it's not going to theaters anymore. Timmy Failure, whatever that was called. This stuff isn't going to theaters anymore. Disney Plus is the only place you'll find it. If you like it, watch it, tell your friends, and make sure these singles and doubles do remain in the Disney repertoire, and they don't strictly go to everything just being the tent poles. I'm sorry.
And if you do watch the shows and want more, Mike will have a review / recap of Andor tomorrow, and then Marshall will do our Mighty Ducks Game Changers recap sometime in the afternoon.
And I'm guessing Marshall has a Dancing with the Stars recap up right now, right? Because he does that.
Not quite yet. He had a late night last night, but he should be sending that to me. He might. I have a red dot on my Slack. We'll see if that's him. It very well could be.
Marshall's like 12. There's no such thing as a late night. He can stay up for like 36 hours straight. No problem. This is what Rebecca wanted to know. Virtual queue is open. It is now 1:39 over at Walt Disney World. This is nice to see. This takes some of the stress out of life when you can just get a virtual queue without staring at your phone and counting down the seconds. So good news. Maybe at some point the virtual queue gets to the point where they stop using it and they just have the lightning lane and wait in line. So maybe that's inching closer and it's not because of lack of quality. This attraction, in my opinion, is the second best attraction in all of Central Florida, surpassed only by Rise of Resistance.
Not what your son would say.
My son's opinions are worth are worth what he pays for them, which is not squat because I pay all the bills. No, just kidding. But yes, he does disagree with me. He does. No, he hasn't done Guardians. And he is not a huge fan of Rise for reasons that are unfathomable to me. Kyle, this 30-minute show has reached 40 minutes. Do you have anything left to add?
I don't think so. Just keep an eye on laughingplace.com. Let us know if you have a better name than Kickoff Show.
And I am very pleased to say we've had viewers the entire time, even though our main viewer, you, is actually on the show. So we are moving on up.
That's not what I'm seeing, but I'll believe you.
You can't look at StreamYard. That's not the right stream. You have to look at the actual, that'll always show zero. This is an unlisted video, but the actual place it's showing has numbers. So 5, new record. All right. Thank you, everyone. Wow. We're gonna quit while we're up to 5. You who just came on, rewind. This is a really good episode. I think I'm gonna put it up on YouTube as a standalone. But everyone, thanks a lot, Kyle. We'll see you again. You're good at this. We're gonna have you do this again.
Thanks.